Okay then guys, well, for those of you that watched my last video, you will know that I'm at Oxenholme Railway Station, which is the gateway to the lakes. And I'm going to be taking another train now on the branch line from here down to Windermere. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing in Windermere when I get there. I've got about 4.5 hours to kill. I was supposed to be going on the lake on a steamboat, but they rang me up the other day and said it was cancelled because of the weather, which, as you can see, is really terrible, isn't it? So anyway, I'm not sure what happened there, but that means I've got to find something else to do. So I'll tell you what, why don't you come with me? We'll get on the train, we'll end up in Windermere, and see where I end up, and what I intend to be doing for the next few hours. I'll see you again when I get there. Cheers for now. The train to Windermere uses platform 3, which has this rather quaint cover over it. Now, as you can see, it was very quiet, with only a few nesting birds to keep me company until the train arrived. And here it was, a Class 195 that had come all the way from Manchester Airport, believe it or not. And on boarding I had to use a different door, as half the carriage was barriered off for the exclusive use of the conductor. It was reasonably busy on the train itself. I suspect quite a few day trippers had made the journey from Manchester, and why not? It was a lovely day for it.
This train is the northern service to Windermere.
I liked the train, it was modern and spacious. Also, Northern had it looking really clean, inside and out. We passed through Kendal and a couple of smaller villages before reaching the end of the line at Windermere. You could tell this used to be a much larger station. A lot of the former buildings now house a supermarket, so it looks like only a small part of the old platforms are now used. If you have any more info on this, by the way, please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, much to my delight, there was an open top bus waiting outside. I'd never been on an open top bus before, so I just had to give it a go. Had a quick chat with the driver about where it was going, how much it was, etc. And I was sold. Obviously I headed straight for the top deck. This is alright, isn't it? Just got on this open top bus, which was waiting for me right inside the railway station. £8.50 for the day. Get on, get off when you want. Driver explained everything for me, which was great. So I'm going to sit on this for a bit and see where it takes me. Brilliant, see you in a bit. The service you want is the 599 operated by Stagecoach, and it's basically a hop on, hop off kind of thing. I head south towards Bowness after leaving the station, and the first stop for me was Braithwaite Fold, where I would take a short walk to Bowness Nab. I'd noticed that a car ferry was operating.
For those leaving us here,
Okay guys, well, I told you I'd get out on the water today, and I'm here at Bowness Nab, waiting for the ferry which will take me across the lake to The other side, I don't know what that bit's called, to be honest. If you do, please let me know in the comments below. But anyway, it takes about 10 minutes, yeah, and it takes cars and passengers. Passenger fare each way is £1, which is great. So I'm going to wait for it to come back and then take a little trip on it. You'll see it in a bit. So of course, typically it just left when I got there. So I had to wait until it came back. They basically just walked along with a few cyclists and cars. Interestingly, there has been a ferry on this site for more than 500 years. The earliest crafts being nothing more than rowing boats, really. And the current ferry, named Mallard, has been operating since 1990. Now it's a cable ferry and it takes around 10 minutes to cover the 490 metres across the lake. It holds up to 18 cars and it wasn't particularly busy today. I would imagine there can be long wait times in a normal summer season. The waiting areas on the ferry were closed, as you would expect, so we just all congregated near the front of the boat. Before reaching the other side, I was treated to some fantastic views and a couple of hawk trainers that were making their way up the lake. Windermere, I should tell you, is the largest natural lake in England, 11 miles long and 1 mile wide at its widest point. And because it's so long and narrow, it's known geographically as a ribbon lake and was formed by a retreating ice sheet at the end of the last ice age. It has 19 islands and, apart from this ferry, also has a couple of passenger-only ferries during the summer season and also the steamer service, which runs the length and breadth of the lake during normal times. And as with many tourist areas, it really became popular after the arrival of the Kendal-Windermere branch line in 1847. After disembarking, I had a look on an information board which was just to the left of the road, and I noticed that there was an interesting tower on the hillside nearby called Claife Viewing Station. So I decided to make my way towards it via a well-worn path through the woods. After passing through an archway and a castellated wall, the track led up to the viewing station, which was basically a tower that had fallen into disrepair but has been consolidated and made accessible again by the National Trust. The building was constructed in the 1790s, and you'll note the tinted glass in the windows that overlook the lake. Originally, the stained glass would have been used to recreate the landscape under different seasonal conditions. In the 1830s and 40s, the tower was used by wealthy visitors who would make their way up the path at night lit by Chinese lanterns. They must have been a very atmospheric place in those days, but unfortunately the novelty had begun to wear off by the end of the 19th century, as I guess people were by then starting to discover and travel to places further afield. I had some lunch amongst the daffodils, which reminded me actually that there was somewhere I'd really wanted to visit for ages, and maybe, just maybe, the bus could take me there. I headed back across the lake on the ferry, paid another £1, and made my way back to the car park where another double-decker was waiting to depart to Grasmere. And of course the most famous ex-resident of Grasmere just happens to be a certain William Wordsworth. Well, technically Wordsworth lived in Dove Cottage, which everybody knows, I would imagine, and that's just outside Grasmere. Then he went to Allen Bank, and then Rydal Mount near Ambleside. Well, he lived near enough anyway, and I wasn't going to let that stand in the way of my own personal spur-of-the-moment pilgrimage. The bus made its way back up the eastern side of Lake Windermere, stopping several times on the way, most notably in Ambleside, which is the other large town on the lake, I guess. And it takes about 40 minutes to get to Grasmere from Windermere Railway Station, so if you're going to do it, you need to allow yourself a similar amount of time to get back, if you have a train to catch. And in terms of Grasmere itself, the most significant location is the Church of St Oswald's, where Wordsworth, his wife's sister and other members of his family are buried. It's a lovely peaceful spot in a beautiful churchyard, and there's also a daffodil garden to walk around and just really have a nice calm time, I suppose. The frequency of the buses is about every 20 minutes, so there's always another one not too far away. I made my way back to the station and managed to meet the train, which was waiting on the platform as I arrived. Managed to get back on the train, which is taking me to Oxenholme. And then I'm catching the Vanity West Coast back down to Crewe. That was really good. 4.5 hours went by like a flash. I did loads of stuff. Managed to get out on the water, Lake Windermere, and an open bus up to Grasmere, which was really nice. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching this. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. Feel free to make any comments you like, and subscribe would be really appreciated. So until next time, guys, the train's just going, and I will catch you in another video soon. Cheers for now.